Hey guys, welcome to another video from NZ Pocket Guide. Today I'm joined by Tim from Hello Future Me, and we're going to be talking about everything that is to do in Christchurch because that's where he's from. Yes, that's right. He is from New Zealand. So Christchurch is the most populated city on the South Island, and pretty much either a starting point for anyone starting a tour around the South Island, or an end point for people finishing a tour on the South Island and just flying back to Auckland and then flying to their home country. So it's a great base to explore the South Island of New Zealand. So tell us, what are your favorite weekend getaways from Christchurch? Where do you like to go explore?
So Christchurch is not a tourist city. So when people think about, coming to New Zealand and they go, let's go to the South Island, it's going to be gorgeous. And then they arrive in Christchurch. Oftentimes they go, this is it. That's because we are based in Canterbury, which is kind of like the big open flat plains. And it's the only place pretty much on the South Island that has these big open empty flat plains. All of the interesting stuff is outside of Canterbury, mostly. But if you grow up in Christchurch, then you know that HANMER Springs is the standard getaway. It's an hour and a half away, and you can drive up there for a night, 2 nights. My girlfriend and I do it probably a couple of times a year, just because it's it's not super cheap, but it's relatively cheap as a getaway. It's definitely not going to Queenstown or anything like that. And then there's some nice walks. There's rivers, there's hot pools, there's animal parks, there's mini golf, there's nice fudge shops, that sort of stuff. So that's like the most common stand.
I can tell your priorities right here.
I like fudge. But actually the pies, you get a pie from the HANMER bakery. That's what they're known for, and they're good. They're damn good pies. I will say that. So I'm always excited if we go to HANMER there, like to get a pie. But so that's the standard one. Other people go to Akaroa.
Yes.
I'm personally not as big a fan of Akaroa, just because I'm not really a beach person, and there's a lot of, but it's a very nice, being French yourself, I assume it must have been nice to see some French culture in New Zealand, because Akaroa
I did enjoy the pastries.
Yeah, because Akaroa has some French roots. Those are like the 2 main ones that are nearby enough that the average person would do a getaway to them. Anywhere else, and you're sort of traveling around the South Island.
So what about the town of Christchurch? It's your hometown. You were literally born in Christchurch. So there must be some hidden gems that only the locals know about. Can you dish out a few?
That's an interesting question. Also, on the topic of that's what South Islanders always say. There's kind of a saying that the South Island's the real New Zealand, North Island's discount New Zealand, and there's a little bit of that feels
the South Island too, but don't tell anyone.
I don't know. North Island it doesn't feel as exciting or pretty to me personally. I like the South Island. I think it's just got so much more. And it's so not populated. North Island is so much more populated, which when you grow up in a much less populated part of the country, it's quite overwhelming to go to everywhere else and just there's cars constantly, all the time, everywhere. Anyways, point being, South Island, Christchurch, gems. It's hard to say because obviously when you grow up there, you don't know that they're a hidden gem because everyone knows that, but you would only know it if you grew up there. Yeah. But I would say Washpen Falls is the closest that I would think.
I cannot agree more.
Yeah, Washpen Falls, which is it's a Christchurch location. It's definitely a day's trip, but it's beautiful. It feels like it shouldn't exist where it does, but it does exist where it does.
So the reason why Tim is saying that is because there's so much farmland around and it's just kind of hidden into a tiny little canyon, and there is all around. So same thing, guys. There is a video in the channel of us visiting that and doing a whole video of it. So
you've been everywhere. Why do you need? You don't need me.
Locals always have this kind of branding of being able to share extra tips and everything. And it's a great way to point that out. We do have a lot of content on the channel. Within only 1 year, a couple of years ago, Laura did New Zealand's biggest gap year, where we did 365 activities all around New Zealand in 365 days. And you get videos of us every single day doing an activity. That's a lot of things to sieve through. So having a discussion with you help bring some up and showcase some awesome stuff.
I'm trying to remember the name of it's a park over near Diamond Harbour, which is really cool. Orton Bradley Park.
Okay, what do you like about it? I can't say I know much about it.
So Orton Bradley Park, it's a park which is on the other side of Littleton Bay, and it's near Diamond Harbour, and it's privately owned, which means it's quite nicely kept. And there's a walk which you can take. It's like 4 hours up to a 2 hours, I think, 1.5 hours maybe, up to a waterfall. But otherwise, it's just a really nice place to go for lunch because it's also right on the beach. Like you can see the beach from it, but there's also some nice trees and there's a river. It's just a nice place to go, and not many people know about it because it's a little bit hidden away. I literally just stumbled upon it, really.
Nice. Yeah, I can say I don't know about it.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute. I like it. People often go to Diamond Harbour because there's I think it's called Stoddart. Yeah, Stoddart Point is a nice little place to go for lunch. It's just a place that you can overlook all the water and stuff like that. But Orton Bradley Park would be the other thing that I'd mention. And some people, by the way, if you live in the northern parts of Christchurch, don't know about, like, I mean, when you say hidden gems, like advertising Horsewall Quarry to like tourists is probably not a good idea. But as someone who grew up around the Horsewall Quarry, it's such a foundational part of, like, it's just such a little beautiful part that's so easily accessible for me. So if you're staying there a while, it's a nice place to walk the dog and stuff.
Nice.
Oh, Bottle Lake Forest, by the way.
Yes.
Go to Bottle Lake Forest. That's another hidden gem that I guess you wouldn't really know about unless you live here. But it's a forest that you can get lost in, and you will never see anyone, and it's great. And my girlfriend and I like it enough that we drive all the way from the other side of town to it to take our dog for a walk.
What about food places? Do you have some favorite eateries or favorite cafes? Something
I do. Absolutely. Nice. So TOMI Japanese has the best salmon I have ever tried. They do it with basically just raw salmon, and then they flame grill it with a blowtorch a little bit, and they put this really nice sauce a little bit on it. And it's the nicest salmon I've ever had, enough that they convinced me to buy a blowtorch myself so that I could do it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my number one recommendation for a place to eat. Also the nicest dumplings I've ever had.
So do you work for TOMI Japanese?
No, I wish I did. I get free TOMI Japanese. My other guilty pleasure is Mugen Sushi. If you don't know, I like Japanese food.
I can now.
Yeah, which is like one of those ones where you pick all the pieces that you like, and then and there's a few of them around town, but I really like them. I would recommend checking out the markets, like if you like food, the RICCARTON market, which has a whole bunch of really nice homemade like salamis and pastries and breads and stuff like that, and that's just next to RICCARTON Mall in the RICCARTON can't remember what it's quite called. If you look up RICCARTON Market, you'll find it there. And the other one being is it the Addington Market? No, it's off Yalt. It's near Yalthurst Road. There's a market there which is every Sunday. The Sunday Market, I call it with my girlfriend. I don't know what its official name is, but it takes place at the racecourse, and it has a lot of really nice food and lots of cute little stalls. So if you like markets, then those are cool.
Yeah, they're always a winner in the city life, the little Sunday or weekend market. Some of them are on Saturday. So as a writer, is there any spot, either around Christchurch or around New Zealand, that while exploring New Zealand, inspiration just struck to you?
So I tend to write books which are pretty inside people's heads. Like the characters don't necessarily go out venturing that much. Like the book that I'm looking to get published takes place mostly within a city kind of thing, but they do go away to a lake, which is kind of inspired by the feeling of Lake Daniels. Lake Daniels is a hike, which is a couple of hours outside of Christchurch in the mountains, and it's an easy hike. It's all flat, and it takes you to a lake with a cabin in front of it, and it's a really pretty place to go. Most of the time, it's pretty empty. So chances are you'll have it all to yourself. That's one of the beautiful things. Yeah, South Island. But point being, back to Lake Daniels, it's a really pretty lake, and that really kind of inspired just the serenity and kind of patience of the space that inspired sort of the scene for the book, personally.
Nice. Cool. Well, so is there any other extra tips you want to give to people coming to explore New Zealand, or should they just kind of enjoy themselves and just pick things that they feel gonna float their boat?
We do not have a stable bus system. Don't
number one.
Don't
tip.
rely on our bus system.
Cool.
That would be
Well, thank you very much for chatting with me, Tim. We did cover quite a lot. We did chat way too much about the Lord of the Rings and gave a lot of tips about Christchurch. So that's really awesome to have your take on traveling in New Zealand. And I'm looking forward to maybe have another chat with you one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's a bit sorry that I was so back and forth about it.
That's okay. It makes it more fun. In the meantime, if you guys find this video useful, you can like, you can subscribe, and there is a link to obviously Tim's channel in the description of this video. Thanks for watching.